Good afternoon and welcome to Seattle's Eastside Real Estate Team's podcast. I am Dan Edwards, managing broker of the Eastside Real Estate Team. Sorry for being late. We're normally on time, but I had some technical difficulties today, and we are in our new studio that is yet to be finished. This is just the beginning. Nice power red wall here. I am your host, Dan Edwards, managing broker of the Eastside Real Estate Team. We are live on Facebook and YouTube. We'd love your comments. Happy to answer any questions that you might have during our podcast. Make sure you do subscribe and rate our podcast as we go. You can find us on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and much, much more. Now, we are going to have a great show today. We're welcoming one of our newest members to the team, Kevin Cortina, and then we're also going to be having some conversations with our good friend, Tucker Maxwell. But first, as always, let's get into the conversation about real estate. So today we're going to talk about the value of utilizing a real estate agent when you purchase new construction. Now, many times, a lot of buyers will get busy. One of the things that they like to do on the weekends is swing by new construction. And I got to say, I enjoy stopping by as well. A lot of reasons why people stop by new construction is they're curious what's going up in their neighborhood. And other times they're thinking maybe it's time for a new home. So they saunter out to the new home facility. One of the biggest challenges that you could run into while visiting new construction is you don't know that you are not represented. So you're heading out to new construction. The friendly, awesome agent there gets compensated by helping you buy the builder's product. So why hire a real estate agent? Well, the reason number one to hire a real estate agent while buying new construction is because you're going to get representation. And that means that not everything that a builder's representative says is always in your best interest. You want to make sure that when you look at a contract, that you look at it through the eyes of protecting you. When the agent at the site presents you the contract, they're presenting an exciting new opportunity to buy a brand new home, right? So they're going to sell it. So the first reason, of course, is to protect yourself. Another reason to hire a real estate agent to help you in buying new construction is that agent knows not just that development, but the area in general. So they are going to be area experts in not just that facility. It's great for them to know perhaps which school district this goes to, but knowing that perhaps another resale home nearby that maybe was built 5 or 6 years ago goes to a different school that may be a school of your choice. So reason number two to hire someone agent while doing that is to ensure someone with local knowledge of not just the development, but of the neighborhoods and the cities and the other neighborhoods and cities that match that buyer's profile. Now, the number three reason is hiring one kind of relates to the first reason, and that is assistance with customization and upgrades. So assistance with customization and upgrades is some builders will and some builders won't allow for upgrades. And it takes an agent who can fight for what you're looking for to help steer you in the right developer, the right builder that can give you the customization you want, or to at least ensure the home is built to the standards that you expect in the beginning. When you run to a developer or builder without that, you are going to end up running into the possibility of not getting what you want and just getting what they give you. So number four reason for hiring somebody is that agent should be a specialist not only in residential contracts, purchase and sale contracts, but also in each of the specific builder contracts. So builder contracts are much different and they're filled with a lot more legalese. And an experienced real estate agent that knows the area and knows multiple builders will know what is normal and what's not normal. So being able to dig into that. So there you have it. We've got four reasons. You want to make sure you have somebody representing you. You want to make sure you have an agent who knows the area. You want to ensure that that agent can help you with upgrades and also understanding the uniqueness of the builder contracts and helping you understand what that means to you. So if you're thinking about buying new construction, I highly encourage you to reach out and find a very educated, well-educated and hardworking negotiator, real estate agent for you. And that is our Real Talk segment for today. Next up, after this short commercial break, we're going to welcome our good friend Tucker Maxwell from Guild Mortgage. Come back after this short break.
Are you worried about your health holding up as you age? Buying a new home often involves paying your mortgage for 15 to 30 years, and you'll need to be at your best to keep working strong as you age. Cummins Chiropractic and Wellness has helped families just like yours regain optimum health as they work hard to provide for their family. The team at Cummins Chiropractic and Wellness treats patients with both crisis care and lifestyle care with our state-of-the-art individualized services. We have seen thousands of people reach and maintain their best health as they age. To learn more about how chiropractic can help you achieve your best health, you can call Cummins Chiropractic and Wellness at 425-590-9158 or reach us online at CumminsChiropractic.com.
Welcome back to the show. I'm Dan Edwards, the managing broker of the Eastside Real Estate Team and your host. And we are joined by our good friend Tucker Maxwell at Guild Mortgage. Welcome back to the show, Tucker.
Thank you so much, Dan. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. So it's been a few weeks since we met. What have you been up to?
You know, I successfully climbed Glacier Peak, which was a huge milestone for us. We've been setting out to climb that for a while, which was awesome. And then I celebrated my birthday in Westport doing a little surfing. So had the best of everything that Washington has to offer the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, enjoying the Pacific Northwest. Remind me, where is Glacier Peak?
Glacier Peak is just north of Seattle, about 2.5 hours off of Mountain Loop Highway 2 area.
I gotcha. Not quite to Darrington?
Correct. Yeah, Granite Falls, kind of closer to town.
Oh, awesome. How long did it take you to climb?
We stayed 2 nights. So it's a 13-mile approach to base camp, stayed the night there, then left base camp at 3:30 a.m. for our summit bid, summited just before 9 o'clock in the morning.
Nice.
And then we're back to camp by 1 o'clock, but decided that we didn't have enough in the tank to get out all the way to the car. So we spent an extra day just kind of enjoying the area and then came out the third day.
What's the elevation?
10,700.
Nice.
Yeah.
Congratulations. That's a fun trip.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get into today's topic. So I had asked you, hey, why don't we talk about some success stories? Because there's so much gloom and doom out there in the housing market. And I think from a lending standpoint, it's important to talk about some of the success stories. So why don't we start with the one in the buyer that you worked with out in Hoodsport, Washington?
Yeah, this was a really cool transaction. One, it was a beautiful property. If anybody is familiar with Lake Cushman and the Hoodsport area, it's an amazing area. But the uniqueness about this area is that all the properties are in a 100-year lease. So working with a lender that can do financing on a leased land, transaction is critical. So one, we were just successful in navigating the lease, making sure that the lease was longer than our loan term and so forth, making sure it had all the legal language and so forth for us to come in and offer a mortgage and put a lien on title that was enforceable. So that was kind of the big thing. But really where the success of this story comes in is this family had been really struggling to buy on the east side. They've been making offer after offer, really trying to compete for the cream of the crop product or home. And unfortunately, we kept getting outbid. We didn't have enough liquidity because we needed to sell their departing residents to free up enough cash to really come in strong. So what we did is we pivoted. We got them their future vacation home to start. We said, let's buy a home in Hoodsport. Let's move all your belongings there. And then let's do the renovations that you need to do on your departing residents here. Sell that for top dollar. And then with those proceeds, we'll come back into the Eastside market and now try to compete. And so this was a really great success story because they just got frustrated. They weren't sure what to do. And then they came across this property that they were like, we would like to buy this down the road as a vacation home. What are our options? I was like, well, you qualify for both, but we just need liquidity. Why don't we buy this lesser price home today, move into it? It's primary residence. You're going to live there for about a year. We're going to renovate. We're going to knock down walls. We're going to do all of the work that you need to do on your kind of dilapidated home that you're in. Once that's done, they're going to sell it. They're going to free up all the money, and then they're going to come back into the Eastside market with cash in hand to then compete for the premier properties.
So obviously that takes a lot of, I don't say risk. I think creativity. That's the word I was looking for. It takes a lot of creativity. Who came up with that idea?
I think it was more the buyers. Actually, we were doing what they asked. We were showing them properties. We were doing pre-approval letters and loan approximations, and we were stretching every deal. Like, how far can we escalate on this price?
And that was because, Tucker, sorry to interrupt you, but that was because they were trying to qualify with buying a house without having to sell their house.
Exactly. And had
Okay.
limited funds to do so. And so we couldn't cover a low appraisal gap, or
Mhm.
we couldn't really stretch and really present a really competitive offer with a large down payment. We were always right at the minimum down payment and stretching for every penny possible. And when you're in a competitive situation, that doesn't look good. We didn't have a lot of wiggle room to handle anything that came up down the road. And so, after unsuccessful offer, we finally said, hey, let's change our game plan. Let's try to go a different route here to get us out of our home and into something else that we want to hold long term as a good real estate investment, to free up time to do the work needed on the departing residents.
I gotcha. All right, that's awesome. That's a great success story. Now, some of the nuances. Let's go back to the purchase on leased land.
Yeah.
I'm a little curious. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. I'm a little curious. Can you kind of unpack the process for somebody who wants to buy on leased land?
Yeah. So, and we should clarify, this was a single family residence. This wasn't a manufactured home, which the guidelines changed for that too. So, single family home on lease land. So, this land had been leased to a power company 90 something years ago. The lease had been renewed several times, and it's a lease that just protects the environment, protects the lake, the water rights. The power company needs to do their work there to supply Tacoma Light, the power for the city. And so there's just some regulations that we look for in the terms of the lease to determine if we can legally lend within it. And so the key component is the lease has to be longer than our loan term. So if we're doing a 30-year fixed rate mortgage, the lease has to go 40, 50, 60 years to be able to satisfy our guidelines. And so we just dug into it. We got a copy of the lease. We dug into the legal language and what it allowed for, what it didn't allow for, sort of like an association, a homeowners association, and what their CCNRs are. And then ran it through legal and underwriting. And as long as it meets those standards to be longer than our loan term by a certain number of years, then we can lend on the property, because our loan will have been paid in full and expired well before the land lease expires.
That's awesome. So there are several places up in Snohomish County, and I think in Pierce County as well, that have leased land and stuff like that. So it's not uncommon, and it is a challenge, and not all of them can be lended on. And I think the one thing you alluded to that was common is a manufactured home on leased land, right? Where that's a little different, and depending on the age of the manufactured home, you may or may not be able to finance on that.
Yep. Yeah. So on all manufactured homes, there's a date that it has to be manufactured after, because I believe it's June 15th, 1974. Check the date on that. They put into place manufactured home standards. Before that, there were really no standards to the building quality, the materials they use, think lead, think asbestos, things like that they really didn't think about. And so after 1974, they said, hey, these need to be, built to a certain standard if we're going to lend on them. And so it's after that. When it comes to lease land, really lenders just don't love manufactured homes on any lease land, regardless of when they were built. There are some partners of ours that will do them, a little bit of larger down payment requirement, so forth. We can get them through, but for the most part, a lot of lenders will shy away from it, because the dirt's essentially the valuable piece to a real estate transaction in most cases. And if it has a questionable dwelling on top of it, it's just not a great investment, and somebody might walk away from that.
Yeah, and I would say the dirt with improvements is valuable.
Exactly. Yeah, totally.
What about now you were telling us a story earlier about a home purchase in Lakewood while simultaneously selling their residence in Renton?
Yep. So this is another really cool story. So young family expecting their first child, wanted to get closer to the grandparents, needed childcare. And so wanted to get out of Renton and move a little further south. Parents were down in the Tumwater, Olympia area. And so we were able to help successfully negotiate their offer being accepted on a home that just hit the market. It was first weekend. There wasn't a whole lot of interest in the property, but we were able to present really, really competitive terms and, let them know that the house that they were going to sell was ready to go on the market. It had already been staged, photography had already been in place. We were ready to list as soon as that home got accepted. And where the success in this comes in is we're on the clock. The sellers of the home we're buying said, okay, we're going to give you a certain number of days to get your home under contract and to close, and then we'll close right after, but you only have so many days. Well, everything was going swimmingly. We got this purchase under contract. We put their home on the market, and first weekend we got multiple offers. And the folks that had their offer accepted, they backed out. They decided that it wasn't the home for them, but they had already released earnest money. So they did a completely waived all the contingencies in their offer.
The people that and the multiple offer on their house in Renton.
Correct. Yeah. So the buyer they selected, $20,000 of earnest money that they released non-refundable to the sellers, our clients, on acceptance. So they accepted it. A couple days later, they decided this wasn't the home for them, and they were going to forego their $20,000. So now we're in a pickle. One, we thought, okay, this could lead to litigation over that $20,000 if they really push us. We don't have time to really fight for it, so we're probably going to have to release it back. What was really cool, and I'm not going to name names, but the buyer's agent held them to it and said, this is principle. We submitted an offer in a multiple offer situation. We told them this was non-refundable earnest money. The right thing to do is to forego this $20,000, and held them to it.
Oh, wow.
So then we were able to go back to one of the backup offers and say, hey, we just fell out of escrow. Buyers backed out. Would you like to resubmit? They resubmit at a higher sales price. And our only concern was we went to all of them. We said, we need you to close by a certain date, because now we're under the clock. We've wasted a few days. We need you to close quickly. So our buyers were able to obtain the $20,000 of earnest money, close on their departing residence at a higher price than the first offer, and get their home in Lakewood that they had wanted the whole time.
Sweet.
All before the baby's due.
That's great. I love that.
So,
it's funny because in these kind of crazy, stressful times, you don't really hear how the sausage is made in the background.
yeah.
And, a couple of things observations on that story is you helping keep everybody calm. Right. And then also, the agents negotiating in good faith and then expressing to their clients what it means to honor the commitment that they made by walking away from the 20,000. So that's a great job. I think we have time for one more. What do you got?
Yes, I think it goes hand in hand. It's another buy sell. It seems to be the common denominator right now of people trying to buy and sell. And with rates where they're at, it's really difficult for anybody, no matter their income level, to qualify for all the payments that's necessary. And so on almost all transactions, we're having to sell first and get that transaction closed to omit that liability from their debt to income ratio. And so, again, this was a young family that was in a condo in Seattle, but wanted to start a family and move to the East Side and to kind of make that jump. And I was nervous about it because condo market is not as hot as a single family. There's a lot of condos that have sat on the market. And again, presented it very well, did all the marketing, priced it accurately. I think that was the key here is we had to really have a tough conversation with these clients and say, hey, what you expect to sell it for might not be reality, and we need to price it appropriately to get it to move if you want to buy that home you're under contract for. Like, we don't have time to kind of wait and test the market and feel out pricing. Like, we need to be aggressive and get it moved. And same thing as the prior story was, we're able to get it under contract and close them simultaneously. And I think the key component to both of this too is to have great relationships with your partners, not only your agent, but the title and escrow. What made both of these transactions a reality was we moved the title and escrow to the same office. So they were handling the transaction. So then they can see the proceeds. We're not waiting on wires and so forth. They know, we can request all the settlement statements and the proof of funds all from one resource. So rather than having two title and escrow teams, 4 agents and all of this going on at the same time, we streamlined it and said, okay, if we're going to do this, we need you to use this title and escrow company because we've already have this transaction with them. This isn't a matter of us not liking who you selected. It's just for the ease of these transactions and closing on time. This is who we need to use. And we just, went with that team. It wasn't my priority team or the agents. It was, okay, who has the first transaction, and let's prepare this other one with it.
Awesome. I love that. All right. So now if folks are looking to make that move and they need to reach out to a lender, how do they get a hold of you?
Yep. I'm on every major platform, but guildmortgage.com/Tucker Maxwell is the best place to get to my corporate page. Would love to talk to anybody. I think this whole buy and sell, concept is a success, but in reality, if we can allow people to buy before selling and keep these homes as investment properties, that's really the best scenario. And so before we even go down the path of selling and buying it, we have a conversation of, can you keep this, and can we convert this to a rental property and increase your investments, your portfolio of real estate? Because with these killer interest rates that they have on these homes from the years past, the best scenario isn't often to sell if we can. So the first step is always to determine, can you keep what you currently have and still buy what you want to buy?
Yeah, I love that, because it's investing in real estate when you do stuff like that, right? Yep. It's about having, these folks that bought out in Hoodsport, or where was it? Was it Hoodsport? Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, it's cool. When they're done with this, they're going to have the home they want, and then they're going to have some great memories and a place to go hang out on the weekends and stuff like that. So kudos. Thanks for coming on the show, Tucker. Appreciate it. It was good to see you.
Yeah, thank you, Dan.
All right. After this short commercial break, we're going to welcome our newest team member to the Eastside Real Estate, Kevin Cortina. Come back after this very short commercial break. It's coming.
The pest stops here. Green City Pest Control is your full-service pest solution for all your pest control needs. With an owner with 32 years experience, a board-certified entomologist, and rodent specialist, we do it all. Bats to rats, crawl space, or attic. Call us and we will resolve your problem. 425-413-9700.
All right, joining us on site, he's at a top secret location, is our newest member, Kevin. Don't forget to unmute yourself, because you'll need to do that. Newest member of the Eastside Real Estate team. Kevin, welcome to our podcast.
Glad to be on the podcast, Dan.
All right. So you don't have any idea how this is going to go. I didn't prep you for it at all. I didn't give you any questions, nothing. So we'll just kind of start by introduce yourself. Tell us who you are, where you're from.
Yeah, currently reside in Burien, Washington. Originally from California, moved here in 2017. I was originally slated to become a lawyer, but then I found the avenue of real estate and I fell in love.
Nice. Now, you've been doing real estate for a while, but you took a little break.
That is correct, yes.
Yeah. How many years in real estate then?
In total, about 2.5.
2.5 years. All right.
Apparently, yeah.
So, as we were talking with Tucker, some success stories. What about the real estate industry do you love the most? And maybe if you have a success story that you can share, we'd love to hear that.
Yeah. Initially, I was in the real estate game for investment purposes. There's a small group of people that go under the guise of FIRE, which is financially independent, retire early. And so with FIRE being a part of that group of people, there's different avenues to attain FIRE, whether it's like stocks and investment or real estate. But then as soon as I helped my first buyer in Bremerton find their house and going through the process of going through multiple different houses and beating out other offers in a multiple offer situation, it was pretty enjoyable. It was getting that deal and helping out my clients in that respect was so awesome and amazing. There's no other feeling like helping out your client.
Yeah. And I think that whole wealth perspective, we've talked a lot about that lately as a team. And we're actually going to be hosting a game night up in the Everett office. So if anybody wants to learn about the beginning investment, please do RSVP. We've got a link. Probably we'll put that in the email here, because it's something we're going to be doing, or not the email, but the lower, what's it called? Down below in the description. Put a link for our cash flow game night. So Kevin, what are those skills that you bring as you were heading towards the lawyer? What are some of those skills that you're going to bring over to helping clients in this business?
I think it's knowledge retention and being able to work under high stress situations. Definitely. And being able to negotiate for my clients through thick and thin.
Yeah, I really do love the negotiation part of real estate. And, it's all about leverage and then being able to really know your contracts, right? So knowing the legal documents. So those are both translatable. So hobbies and interests, what do you do when you're not working?
It's either at the gym or going on hikes with my 2 dogs and my fiance,
Nice.
and camping. Yeah.
Camping. Have you been on any good hikes lately?
Not currently. I've been trying to really buckle down and work on my business currently.
Gotcha. Well, all work and no play makes for a dull person. So go for a hike every now and then. No, but yeah, right now you need to do your open houses. Okay, so then the last thing is, why should somebody choose to work with you in real estate?
I think what I bring to the table and what separates me from most real estate agents is definitely the team that I'm on. I have a really good mentor on my team. He's amazing. He's been really knowledgeable, really helpful.
Who's that?
Probably one of the best mentors I've had so far in my early life. But aside from that, it's like the whole brokerage aspect of what we stand for, and people at Place and Keller Williams with Ben Kinney. The fact that we have a database of buyers and sellers of multiple levels at different aspects of different price points is huge. Our marketing strategies are pretty unbeatable. Like I believe yesterday when you went pending, it was a multiple offer situation over listing price with few to no contingencies. And that's something you don't see every day in today's market.
Yeah, well, it's awesome. We're very excited to have you a part of the team. And the one thing that I'll add, to skill set is hustle. Kevin definitely is putting in the time and has the experience. I mean, one of the things about real estate right now is there are such weird challenges in our market with inventory and stuff that you really do need to have somebody that cares about this as a career and isn't doing it part-time. They're doing it full-time, and they're really learning their craft, paying attention. So welcome to the team, Kevin. I so appreciate you being a part of this podcast. I'm going to let you get back to looking at houses because I know you're out there doing some tours today. So thanks for joining us.
Thanks for being here, Dan.
All right, so let's close out our show here, and I think we always try to have something going on. If you want, this is kind of cool that every summer I think Seattle does this. It's the Washington's Midsummer Renaissance Fair. So if you want to get dressed up in your Renaissance attire, Saturday and Sunday, and it's Saturdays and Sundays, every Saturday, Sundays at Sky Meadows Park through August 20th. There's English towns all set up. And, I might just go LARPing, and that would be kind of fun. Go check out the whole LARPing scene in Seattle. And okay, hold on. I'm going to bring in Tucker here. Tucker, if you were to be LARPing, okay, you know what I'm talking about, live role play?
Yep.
What direction would you go? Would you go knight? Would you go like fantasy character, or would you do something different, like maybe a merchant?
I think I'd go knight.
Okay.
I think that resonates with me. I'd knight for sure.
Yeah. So then we could break down which knights, Arthurian legend, perhaps maybe on the next show. But let's check out the Renaissance Fair. There's tons all over the Northwest. Yeah. But yeah. Okay. All right.
What are you going to be?
I'm a little conflicted because I would go with knight. It's like easy and straightforward. Yep. But this summer, right, I went to Italy and toured around the area, and there's a whole lot more nuance to the characters in the whole world of Renaissance. I think I'd probably be a philosopher.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Let those, you guys can go fight it out. Philosophers are going to hang back with the rich aristocracy and maybe write some things down for people to know. I don't know. But there was one painting that there was the Renaissance people drew themselves. The guy painted everybody into it. I can't remember the name of it. Everybody that knows famous paintings will know this painting. And so anyways, I thought it was kind of funny. They painted themselves into the painting.
That's cool.
The Rembrandt and all those guys. Anyways. Yeah. All right. Thanks for a great show. We'll see you all next week.
See ya.